This episode contains discussions of death and grief. Listen at your own discretion. It is Friday, the 11th of October, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. It's day 5 in Life is Strange week, and that means we're talking about a song from the 5th episode of Life is Strange, which is also the final episode of Life is Strange. And that song is Spanish Sahara by Foals. Now, there are 2 endings for Life is Strange. This one plays in one ending, the canon ending. And if you disagree, you missed the whole point of the game. I'm going to get so many negative comments about that, but I don't care, because people who think the other ending is the right ending didn't play the fucking game. Anyway, I will talk about its usage in the game, which will be full of spoilers, because obviously it plays over the ending, after we listen to the song. But right now I want to talk about Foals. They are a British band. They were formed in Oxford, and the lead singer is a Greek-British guy called Yanis Philippikis, and I had the biggest fucking crush on him back when I was a teenager. Loved that man's. Still kind of doing in a way. The other members are Jack Bevan, Jimmy Smith, and Walter Gervers. Anyway, they released their debut album Antidotes in 2008. My brother was a big fan of that album. I used to hear a bit of it on the radio. I used to hear him listening to it, and then I just stopped thinking about them. And then years later, my friend showed me the song Spanish Sahara, which is today's song, and I loved it. And I was like, wait, this is the same guys who did French Open and Cassius and all that? It's so different. So then I gave them a proper listen to, and that's when I actually got into them. And their other albums are very good too. I really love their song Inhaler. I also really love their 2019 double album Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost. Really love that album. Those 2 albums, really. So when this song played over the ending of the game, punched me in the gut. Like I said with Lua on Wednesday, because I knew this one before and I already had an emotional attachment to it, this playing over the ending, I immediately was in tears because I knew what was coming from the song. So that just colored everything about the ending, you know. We're going to listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. I know I've said it a million times in this podcast, and particularly during this week, but again, this is a song with a kind of musical arc. It starts quiet, it builds up to a fever pitch, and then ends quietly again. And I love how this song is structured, because it starts off with just the kind of drums doing the... and the guitar just in the simple, you know, do, just playing chords. And then Yanis's gentle voice coming in. Really love how this sounds. Again, big spoilers for one of the endings for Life is Strange. I mean, I'm going to talk about both endings, really, but I'll mark down the spoilers here and let you know when you can jump back in. But this song plays over the Sacrifice Chloe ending. And a lot of people think that Chloe shouldn't die at the end because they don't understand the entire game as a metaphor for grief. And the whole point is that Max can't change the past and she has to let go. That's the whole point of the fucking game. And people think that just because they want to save the gay romance, that Chloe shouldn't die. It's not how it works. It's not how narratives work, okay? It doesn't make a good story if Chloe survives. Because they just sacrifice the whole rest of the fucking town. What good ending is that? Anyway, so in the Sacrifice Chloe ending, Max goes back in time to the first episode and lets Chloe die. And as soon as the gunshot happens, the song starts playing. And it transitions from various things happening, but most of it plays out over Chloe's funeral. And a butterfly flies in because it's a recurring symbol. I mean, you know the whole idea of the butterfly effect. One of the first things in the game is you see a butterfly in the bathroom, and that's what leads to the whole debacle in the first place. And so the game ends with the butterfly landing on Chloe's coffin. I think this song is such a perfect choice for the ending because it has that ebb and flow to it. It has that melancholic atmosphere. It has that whole refrain of forget the horror here, it's future rust, it's future dust. You know, it's great. I just think it really fits with the whole thing of Max changing the past because she can't change the past, right? She can't change the future, so she had to go back and make it so she never changed it. And it's a hell of a thing. I think that's the end of spoiler talk now. Yeah. Anyway, I knew this song, like I said, before I got into Life is Strange, so this song hit me harder when it played in the game. But now we're going to talk about the lyrics, shall we? Well, before we talk about the lyrics, actually, we're going to read what Yanis himself said about the song. He said, it has no real relevance to the real Spanish Sahara. So the Spanish Sahara is, what does it say here on Wikipedia? The Spanish possessions in the Sahara and then the province of the Sahara was the name used for the modern territory of Western Sahara when it was occupied and ruled by Spain between 1884 and 1976. So that's fun. It's an area of the Sahara that was owned by Spain. That's all you really need to know. And so he says here, it has no real relevance to the real Spanish Sahara, which none of us have been to. It's kind of an imaginary place, somewhere that's quite nightmarish and ravaged. It's like a desolate landscape, and the whole song is like getting over a trauma, but the trauma doesn't go away, and it multiplies from one into a bunch of Furies, which was kind of to do with the Greek myths of the Furies, who would haunt families and generations. So again, not to dip back into spoiler talk, but if you listen to me talk about the ending, you understand why that's relevant to the ending that it plays over. So, let's talk about the lyrics. So I walked into the haze and a million dirty waves. Now I see you lying there like a lilo losing air. Black rocks and the shoreline surf, still dead summer I cannot bear. And I wipe the sand from my eyes. Spanish Sahara, the place that you'd want to leave the horror here. Forget the horror here, forget the horror here. Leave it all down here. It's future rust and it's future dust. Forget the horror here, forget the horror here. Leave it all down here. It's future rust and it's future dust. On Genius, someone said that apparently this song has to do with a lucid memory of Yanis Philippikis of seeing a dead dog floating in the sea, which makes sense considering that the music video is him dragging an animal carcass up a hillside in Scotland and burning it. And so I've always enjoyed that lyric. Now I see you lying there like a lilo losing air. So a lilo is like a British term for an air mattress, like that you put in the water, you know? And so saying it's like a lilo losing air, like it's a corpse deflating, decomposing, you know what I mean? Still dead summer I cannot bear is a great line as well. Yeah, and I wipe the sand from my eyes. The Spanish Sahara, the place you'd want to leave the horror here. So he's talking again about this imaginary place where you go to forget about your grief, bury it, you know, or in this case, push it out to water or burn it. And then, yeah, I love the repetition of forget the horror here, forget the horror here, leave it all down here. It's future rust and it's future dust. The repetition makes it sound like he's insisting. It's future rust and it's future dust is like, it will all go away. We are all future dust, right? Or future rust in the case of metal. Now the waves, they drag you down, carry you to broken ground, but I'll find you in the sand, wipe you clean with dirty hands. So goddamn this boiling space, the Spanish Sahara, the place that you'd want to leave the horror here. I should say in his English accent, it makes more sense to rhyme Spanish Sahara, place that you wanna, because I say Sahara because of my accent, but yeah. Anyway, so it feels like he's talking about the corpse again, right? The waves drag you down, carry you to broken ground, but I'll find you in the sand, wipe you clean with dirty hands. But it feels like just generally talking about, I mean, like he said about trying to forget grief, but how it haunts you. Like it's like this corpse is representative of all these things that he's trying to forget, you know, or trying to ignore. I also enjoy so goddamn this boiling space. It's very evocative. Anyway, we get the chorus again, and then we get the bridge, which is just, I'm the fury in your head, I'm the fury in your bed, I'm the ghost in the back of your head, 'cause I am, and it repeats that a few times. And then we get the chorus again, and then we get the outro, which is a choir of furies in your head, a choir of furies in your bed, I'm the ghost in the back of your head, 'cause I am, repeating. So I always thought it was interesting. I didn't know much about the Furies when I first got into this song, but after doing Greek theater and Greek mythology in college, knowing that this is referring to the Furies is very interesting to me. The Furies are, you know, they're kind of violence and divine justice and retribution. And this song is saying, you know, I'm the fury in your head, I'm the fury in your bed, I'm the ghost in the back of your head. It's this thing that's staying there at the back of your mind, haunting you as a fury. It's raging, you know. And this is sung as the song builds up, and like the music, the drums and everything are picking up. But also, I love the kind of arpeggiated like on the synth or keyboard or wherever it is. I love that sound. And you get kind of a guitar solo as well that I just love the way this builds up and explodes. Oh, it's so good. And then after the final lyrics, the song just kind of fades out into the synth going. Sometimes I just find myself doing that, you know, just that fading bassy sound. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, really. I mean, the ghost in the back of your head, again, relevant to the Life is Strange ending. Yeah, I just really love this song. It's got some really interesting imagery in it, and I love the music of it all. So that's the 5 episodes of Life is Strange. Like I said, there's 2 more days in the week, so we're going to talk about 2 other songs in the game. Both songs are in multiple episodes, which is partially why I'm doing them for the weekend, but also they're both by Sid Matters, which is the name of the band that did the original soundtrack, so probably why they appear multiple times and there's more than one song with the same artist. So we'll be talking about those on the weekend. But for now, thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
It is Friday. Fuck. Let's try that again. I don't know why it made me laugh. It is Friday, the 11th of October, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Good enough.